Oh, warning for you. Whatever you're having for breakfast right now, probably not insect-based. But according to scientists, that could change in the future. Studies showing that bugs are a great source of protein and good for the planet. Currently, the Food Standards Agency has approved 4 edible insects. What are they, you're saying? So we have the yellow mealworm, the black soldier fly, that one there. 2 types of cricket, house crickets and banded crickets. The crickets apparently can contain up to 70% protein. That's almost 3 times more than beef, pork or chicken. Compared to livestock, rearing them, of course, has a lower environmental impact. And now researchers at the University of Surrey are looking for volunteers to help them assess if crickets really meet our dietary needs. Sean Killick has been finding out more.
In some parts of the world, they're quite popular to eat, but funnily, they've never caught on here, which is a shame because insects are a good source of protein. So people have begun to farm them. Typically, they're frozen, boiled, dried and turned into an insect-based flour, which can be added to foods such as pasta, bread or cakes. Now at the University of Surrey, they're going to test volunteers who've eaten muffins made with powdered crickets to check the nutritional intake of what they say is a more environmentally friendly food source. But is the question less one that's environmental or nutritional, maybe more cultural?
People are reluctant to eat something with 6 legs and an antennae. So that was one of the reasons why we made our muffin. If I wouldn't tell you it has insects in it, you wouldn't know, so that might help people get over reluctancies to try it, because when they then try it and go, this actually tastes quite good.
But do people on the streets of Guildford find the idea of edible insects palatable?
I don't really like the sound of that, to be fair.
I think it is good. It's just something I've never done. But yeah, I mean, maybe if I wasn't quite so squeamish, I would try some.
I don't think so you should eat insects. It might be bad for you. It might kill you.
No way. Sorry.
It seems not everyone's bowled over by the idea of these cricket teas. Sean Killick, BBC News, Guildford.
We're joined now by Dr. Ralph Manders from the University of Surrey. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
You're leading this study and you've brought us some stuff, which I want to kind of highlight. First of all, so first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us. And thank you for bringing us muffins. And this protein powder is really worth talking about, because
yes,
this is what we're all about, isn't it?
Indeed, that is the actual cricket flour, which are basically just ground up crickets.
Did you cook the crickets?
No, the crickets are freeze-dried and then milled.
Give us a sense. So that bowl there, I don't know how close we can get in on that. About how many crickets have been used to create that much?
I'm not quite sure, but that's probably about 50 crickets.
OK.
Give or take.
All right, so you've got that powder. You do what with it?
So then I have to admit, these muffins were baked by James Rutherford, so he's the PhD student on this study. And he bakes these muffins pretty much like if you're baking at home, making any types of pastry.
Are they chocolate?
They're chocolate and blueberry.
Oh, lovely. You're not telling us which one is which. So one is...
One has the cricket flour in it, and the other one has a whey protein.
Well, I tell you what, why don't you and I keep talking for a moment? And Aga can do the tasting and the slicing.
Does everyone want a piece?
I'll have a piece.
Yeah, I'll have a piece too. And so what are the benefits, in theory, of using insects?
So the benefits from a protein perspective, as you've already earlier mentioned, they've got a much higher protein content. So when we start farming these crickets, we need a lot less space to grow them compared to, for example, cattle. It uses a lot less water, less feed to create this amount of protein.
Okay.
So that's going to be the main advantage. But
I think I can guess which one is the cricket flour.
We'll see. But
I'm going for number 1 right now, OK?
There you go.
Thank you. But the aim of our research is actually to see does the protein live up to the hype, and does it work as well as animal or plant-based protein? So where we're now in this first study looking at, is the protein as digestible compared to a whey, which is a milk protein?
And how do our bodies process this protein, if differently, or I mean, I suppose you're trying to prove whether or not we can process it better in terms of muscle regeneration and, you know, health and everything.
Yeah. To be fair, it doesn't have to be better than milk-based proteins or plant-based proteins. It's more to see, is this a good alternative? Because if it works as efficiently as the plant-based proteins, then we can say you can actually start using this in your cooking.
Yeah, so Ralph, I have tried first number 1, which you can see here. In fact, you can see the innards of that now. And then number 2. Now, I am assuming that number 2 is the one using the insects. This is a lot drier and has a distinct flavour to it. But I don't know how much of that is in the bake. Which did you think? Not speaking right now. Am I right?
So which one did you think was the insect one?
I thought that one on the right here, the drier of the two, was the insect.
That one looked like it. They both taste bad, if I'm being honest.
I don't think so. I quite like the first one. Anyway, which one was the insect one?
Well, you quite like the insect one then, because the first one actually has the insect in it, and the other one has the whey protein in it. And I have to admit, because from our research perspective, we add quite a lot of protein. So one of these muffins has 20 grams of protein, which is quite a lot of protein for one muffin. That's why they are quite dry and why some people say, oh, I don't really like the taste as much.
But good cooks will find ways, won't they? So, and do you know what? We've got to do something. Ben's at a milk factory today, and we're talking about the shortage and the difficulties in kind of producing different alternatives. So, or alternatives, I should say. So, thank you. Thank you what's the name of your research assistant who baked these?
James Rutherford.
James, thank you for the cookie, for the muffins. They were interesting.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us as well.